Welcome back to another episode with the Killer Archive. Today we are in New Orleans. The year is 1918. A city alive with music, Creole cooking, and summer heat thick enough to slow your heartbeat. But as night falls, something else moves through the narrow streets. Something darker than the shadows. Between May 1918 and October 1919, a killer stalked this city with an axe and left behind one of America's strangest and most haunting mysteries. They called him the Axeman of New Orleans. The first attack. It began on May 22, 1918. Joseph and Catherine Maggio, grocers living above their shop on Upper Line Street, were found brutally attacked in their bed. Their throats had been slit with a razor and their skulls crushed with an axe. Their own axe left at the scene. The killer had chiseled through their door panel to get inside. Nothing was stolen. Money, jewelry, food, all untouched. Police found the blood-stained razor discarded nearby. It belonged to Joseph's brother, who ran a barbershop. But he had an alibi. The city was shaken, but no one could imagine what was coming next. A pattern emerges. Just weeks later in June, another Italian grocer was attacked, Louis Bessumer, and his mistress, Harriet Lowe. They were found in a pool of blood, skulls fractured. The same door chiseled open. Harriet survived for weeks, long enough to tell police she believed Louis was a German spy. She later died from her injuries, still insisting he was the culprit. But evidence didn't fit. The axe had once again come from the victim's own home. The press began calling him the Axeman. Fear spread through immigrant neighborhoods, especially among Italian grocers and their families. Windows were nailed shut. Men slept beside their doors with shotguns. And the killer kept coming. The city in panic. In August 1918, Mrs. Schneider, 8 months pregnant, was attacked in her bed. Her scalp split open. She was left unconscious, but somehow survived. When she awoke, she couldn't remember a thing. 5 days later, Joseph Romano, an elderly grocer, was found dead. Neighbors saw a tall man in a dark suit and slouched hat fleeing the scene. Police at last had a description, but no name. The city fell into hysteria. New Orleans police were overwhelmed. They suspected a lunatic, a burglar, maybe even a supernatural force. Newspapers fanned the fear, printing headlines that screamed, "Axe murderer still at large." The letter from hell. Then, on March 13, 1919, the Axeman struck again, not with a weapon, but with words. The Times-Picayune newspaper received a letter written in elegant but chilling language. It began, "Esteemed mortal, they have never caught me, and they never will. They have never seen me, for I am invisible, even as the ether that surrounds your earth." He signed it, the Axeman. The letter continued, claiming he was a spirit, a demon from hell. And then came the strangest threat in crime history. "At 12:15 earthly time on next Tuesday night, I will again pass over New Orleans. In my infinite mercy, I will spare those in whose homes a jazz band is playing. One thing is certain, those who do not jazz it on Tuesday night will get the axe." That Tuesday, March 19, 1919, the entire city exploded in sound. Every bar, dance hall, and home hosted musicians. Jazz poured from open windows, brass bands marched through the streets, and terrified families danced through their fear. That night, no one was killed. The legend of the Axeman was sealed, forever tied to the sound of jazz, the later attacks. But mercy didn't last. In August 1919, Steve Boca, another grocer, was attacked in his home. He survived but could not recall his attacker. In September, Sarah Lauman, a young woman, was found unconscious with a gash in her head. Her door was chiseled open. Then on October 27, 1919, the Axeman claimed what's believed to be his final victim, Mike Pepitone. His wife awoke to find him dead, his head crushed, his room drenched in blood. Through the chaos, she saw a large man fleeing into the night. It was the last time anyone saw the Axeman. Suspects and theories: police never found him. They arrested several men, including one named Joseph Momfrey, a petty criminal and suspected mafia associate. Years later, in 1920, Mike Pepitone's widow moved to Los Angeles. And there, She allegedly shot and killed a man she claimed was the Axeman. His name, Joseph Momfrey. The story made headlines, but the truth was murky. Records showed a man by that name had indeed been killed in Los Angeles, but no hard evidence ever tied him to the New Orleans murders. Some historians believe Momfrey was a real gangster, but the connection was likely coincidence. Over time, theories multiplied. Some say the Axeman was a sadist obsessed with jazz. Others believe he targeted Italian immigrants out of ethnic hatred. A few claim he was a burglar who turned to murder when caught. But none of it fits perfectly. Each scene was the same. A panel chiseled from a door. The victim's own axe used against them. Nothing stolen, only lives taken. The legacy of fear. By 1920, the killings stopped as suddenly as they began. No one knows why. Perhaps the killer died, was jailed for another crime, or simply moved on. But the legend of the Axeman grew. He became part of New Orleans folklore. A ghost story told in jazz clubs. A cautionary tale whispered on humid nights. In music and literature, his presence lingers. Writers like Ray Celestine and musicians like the rock band Beck have referenced his story. He's even inspired television, appearing in shows like American Horror Story, Coven. Yet behind the myth are real victims. Families who never got justice. Lives cut short in a city already haunted by its own history. Closing reflection. More than a century later, the Axeman's identity remains one of America's great unsolved mysteries. Was he a man? A monster? Or just a reflection of a city's fear during dark times? New Orleans still remembers. The music never stopped playing, and somewhere in the echoes of its brass bands, the legend of the Axeman still keeps time. One beat for each of the lives he took. 3 victims confirmed. Up to 17 suspected. No arrests, no confession, no closure. And one line that still chills every detective who reads it. They have never caught me, and they never will.